Listen to what people say and watch how people behave and believe your eyes and ears. Sydney Sweeney just did an interview with GQ. And during this interview, she stated very clearly what mattered to her.
Oh dear. Well, my ears are pricked, my eyes are peeled. I wonder what atrocity Sydney Sweeney has committed this time.
Internet is allegedly declaring Sydney Sweeney as a white supremacist.
She evaded what clearly did not matter to her. And I think that so often we look to seek and find depth where there is none. We look to see and seek out explanations when there aren't any.
In a GQ interview, Sydney was given the opportunity by the interviewer to clear the air on her American Eagle ad, and this is what Sydney had to say.
Maybe specifically in this political climate, like, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority.
Common sense.
That was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Hang on a second. Now I see.
And before you go running to the comments saying, oh, she's smart, she's PR trained, is invalid in this case. Because having no stance on white supremacy and racism is having a stance.
Well, amen to that, sister. We've been resting on our laurels. We've been caught napping. We thought we'd done away with all of the Sydney Sweeneys of the world at Nuremberg. But nay, a few slipped through the net, apparently. White silence is violence, remember, and black violence is
largely peaceful demonstrations in the face of law enforcement.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
She was asked by the reporter about her feelings on the American Eagle ad, as if it was the elephant in the room that they had to really discuss. And during that time, Sydney Sweeney was very blatant about not wanting to talk about it.
Okay, that's enough crying black man meme, am I right? What is this, 2016? I'm still very much with it, and you'll see that because I'm discussing the latest thing today. Sydney Sweeney's latest crimes against humanity and the heartfelt indignation in a given community. Let's take a look.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So,
well, here's another idea. How about you never talk again right now? Ooh, how is it that I'm worried about sprinkling in the right memes here and there so as not to seem like an old, out-of-touch fagoot? Yet this woman can just happily sit there and carry on with her journalistic career. And that voice,
now,
what a cliche.
Were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a Gene ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Jeans are great. Jeans are awesome. I have an agenda. You know I have an agenda. I could never be involved in showbiz in any way. I couldn't be Sydney Sweeney in this situation, sitting there listening to the same inane crap from these fake smile, low-life GQ journalists. It's like, imagine as well, by the way, that your dream job that you've worked your way up to is a journalist for GQ magazine. Sitting there asking tired and bored celebrities the same crappy questions about the same crappy, boring, inane topics that they've had to answer 1,000 times. Your job is essentially to make them more irritable. Your boss is going to be angry if you don't get the responses that you need. You need to elicit a certain response from them as well. The audience hate you. They only want to hear what the famous person, the star, has to say. They don't care about you sitting there like, oh, jeans are awesome. Everyone fucking... It's just... It cannot be a happy life. Be careful what you wish for is what I'm saying, I think.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
President tweeted or Truth Socialed about your ad, and I just wondered, I guess, what that was like. You fucking snake. You are the lowest of the low.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, you know, and conveniently some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
I don't think that, it's not that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it.
Yeah. Now, I've been watching quite a bit of Sydney Sweeney lately, and I think she's smarter than she lets on. She likes to play dumb. Or maybe not play dumb exactly, but she doesn't do this thing that a lot of celebrities do, a lot of cretins in real life do, is she doesn't go out of her way to make herself sound smarter than she is, you know, and she reacts to things in as earnest a way as possible. And she's handling this really well, because the temptation for me here, if I had a slippery slow worm like this asking me these questions that don't really mean anything, like, what was that like? It was this so convenient that you had people in positions of power that had your back. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to say to that? And she's just reacting very sort of candidly and going, well, I don't know, didn't really cross my mind. And yes, it's very refreshing to see. And I think she handles it very well. Well done, Sydney.
I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
You've made a really good case for keeping your thoughts and your life separate from that work. But the risk is that, you know, there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like, I don't want to see Christy because of that. Like, do you worry about that?
No.
Ooh, she's got her figured out. She's got her number. And again, I've got to say, handling it brilliantly. There's no way, I couldn't do that. I could not sit there. I'd be on my feet like, if you want to accuse me of something, can see the headlines now the next day. Boland attacks. They thought Oliver Reed and Peter O'Toole were bad. I'd usher in a whole new age, a whole new Hollywood renaissance.
Trying hard not to laugh.
You're not listening, are you? Piss off. No. Bloody joke. Go on, piss off. Bloody think you were a hard man. Go on, piss off. Out of it.
If somebody is closed off because of something they read online to a powerful story like Christy, then I hope something else can open their eyes to being open to art and being open to learning. And I'm not gonna be affected by that.
Wise words, Miss Sweeney. No, but in all seriousness, she just, in a very polite and roundabout way, said that, hey, if people are mentally ill, I can't really do anything about that, and I wish them all the best.
Yeah. You've come here like really willing to talk about this whole discourse that doesn't have that much to do with you, and I'm grateful for that. Is there something that you want to say about the ad itself the Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Do you have...
The ad spoke for itself.
You think the ad spoke for itself?
Yeah.
Okay. And the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
So yeah, that's the big deal. Sydney basically said, well, it was a jeans ad, and I don't know, if ever I have to say anything political, then I guess I'll say it. But for the time being, no, that was a jeans ad, and I think it spoke for itself. Which is very good, because if I found myself in her situation, I think I would say something along the lines of, shut the fuck up, you psychos. If you've got such a problem with me and, I don't know, if you've got such a massive chip on your shoulder, such an inferiority complex about you or people who don't look like you or whatever it is, that's your problem. Go and work it out. And that's why we're going to take a look at these lunatics who are reacting to this ad, a few of them anyway. And because it's not just a few psychos on TikTok, it's people at all levels of society, celebrities, presenters, and yes, random weirdos on the internet. This pandemic of faux indignation, of a desperation to either be the victim of something or to be calling out the victimization of somebody else. This absolute narcissistic need for attention at any cost, by saying how awful somebody else is or how awful people are being to me, you know, how I'm suffering in some way. Not like me, though. I'm not like that because I'm self-aware. Okay? The self-awareness abounds on the Daniel Boland Show.
She was honest and forthcoming about talking about domestic violence and stating that that was important to her. She was clear on the importance of art as it relates to messaging. She's not naive to the fact that what you put out into the world has messages attached to it. She was clear. The effect of the American Eagle ad, she was clear, but she was unbothered. You need to pay attention to what people say and how they act and not pretend it is different than what you see and what you hear. She is not concerned. Race relations in the United States and subliminal messages within American Eagle ads are not a priority in the messaging of what she considers art.
See, people like this lady here are the exact opposite of what I was describing about Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney, to me, is just a professional. You know, she's going in, like she says, she's working, filming 16 hours a day and doing ads or whatever, getting paid, sitting through these stupid testy interviews without getting flustered. She knows it's just part of the game, whatever. And at the end, it's fine. I'll just be as vague as possible with my answers and show that I'm not bothered by it. Whereas you've got a person like this content leech, which you will remember I am not. I'm a self-aware leech. Who's sitting down writing a monologue about how dangerous and terrible and racist Sydney Sweeney is. Like, as though she really believes any of that. Like, it's purely for content. And, well, maybe she's convinced herself that she believes this. I don't know. It could be a combination of the two things. The point is she's got shit for brains. You know? And doing the exact thing I was saying that Sydney Sweeney doesn't do. She's trying to make herself sound way more intelligent than she is. With this, the subliminal messaging. Basic bitch! Alright, I said it.
She understands messaging within art. Just be clear on that. She understands that art can be interpreted in so many different ways, and she appreciates the various interpretations that it may have. But as it relates to this particular ad, she just loved jeans.
Yes, you massive tard, because there was in no way any intention by her or the company to imply racial superiority. They were saying she's a beautiful woman wearing jeans. I've got good jeans. Why do I'm not explaining it anymore. I refuse. Don't engage.
as if to say, what is the big deal and why do people keep talking about it? At the end of the interview, or even close to the end, she even said, when pressed by the interviewer about how is it being perceived, or how are people looking at this ad, or do you realize that people are looking at it in this way? She said, when I want to talk about something, people will know it. She's not a fool. She's not a shy kid that doesn't understand the importance of art and the importance of messaging within art. She's clear. So moving forward, when people tell you...
Just hold that thought 1 second there, Miss Cheldin. Can we just take a second out of the video to appreciate the beautiful atmospheric piano song that's playing behind Miss Cheldin's words? What are we watching? Schindler's List. Very moving. There's a point, actually. Yeah, not very many black actors in all those Holocaust movies. Someone should probably look into that. Something ought to be done about it. In fact, I've got an idea, by the way, for if Netflix are interested, for a very original World War II movie. And I've got a DVD of my grandmother describing the horrors of the night that she lost she lost 7 of her brothers and sisters and her father to a German bomb that fell on their house. She describes being pulled from the wreckage along with a couple of her brothers and her mother. And very moving. However, I just feel that to get this movie over the line, we need an angle, you know? I might have to insist that my grandmother was black. It's the untold story of the Black family from Birmingham. You know? That might work. You know, yeah, I'm black, you just can't tell. I'm like Cole Palmer or Stephen Graham, the guy from Adolescence. He's black. Ryan Giggs. I think I could make that work. My vision for the movie, it would be like the Titanic. You'd have my grandmother played by some big black mama. Those Germans won't playing around, is how I imagine it. And then flashbacks to like 1930s, 40s Birmingham. Not like Peaky Blinders. In no fucking way like that shit.
Tell you where they stand, believe them. When they show you where they stand, believe them. Don't think that they're naive or that they're too young to not know what the messaging is behind what it is that they're doing. She's clear, and she's stated it blatantly for all of us to understand. She's not interested in talking about race relations in the United States, and she's definitely not interested in looking deeper into how we see the American Eagle ad.
Yeah, she's not. She's not interested, and nor are any of the rest of us normal, sane people. I'm sorry if this is sounding a bit hack. I know there are other things going on in the world, but you've got people like Sydney Sweeney's castmate here, Amy Lou Wood, commenting, that's the emoji, that's the comment she left on this interview clip. So saying what she thinks basically of her co-star. Like, imagine throwing her under the bus like that. How disgusting. And the reason I'm talking like this is because I appreciate that we live in a time now where we're being allowed a little bit to push back on this. Because you don't want these fuckers running the show. You really don't. All right, I'm not here like, oh, free speech, blah, blah, blah. This woman, Sydney Sweeney, has done nothing wrong. And evil people are... they're just sowing division and hatred. Now, that did sound hack.
To make things worse, when the interviewer asked what she thought about the president saying the American Eagle ad was the hottest ad out there, she said, quote, "It was surreal." Her own former castmate, Amy Lou Wood from White Lotus, posted this as a comment under the video.
Yep, and this is why Zendaya won't work with her now. Sydney Sweeney recently sat down with GQ for an interview where one of the topics discussed was the controversial American Eagle jeans ad. Critics argued that the ad was insensitive because it contained dog whistles of eugenics and palm-colored nationalism, and this is how Sydney responded to those claims. Here we go.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
This is gold. This response did not go over well with certain audiences because they feel like Sydney was purposely being smug, apathetic, and dismissive. I say all this to say, if y'all do not care for how Sydney is moving, the best thing y'all can do is stop talking about her, stop supporting her, distance yourself completely. In fact, word on the street is that Zendaya is refusing to do any public press with Sydney Sweeney to promote the upcoming Euphoria Season 3 due to the controversies that Sydney has been involved in. Once again, all of that information is alleged, but I cannot blame Zendaya if that is true because, she got way too much going on.
Hey, you want to go to American Eagle?
Oh, I can't go in there because I'm black.
So although, as we have said, our profits are through the roof in these final 3 quarters, the video clearly shows we're going to have a problem on our hands. We need to turn our attentions to recapturing our black clientele. Another classic meme there. It's always 2016 on the Daniel Boland show.
Baffles me how racist Sydney Sweeney is. Like, in a recent interview, the interviewer literally gave her a chance to, like, correct the whole ad situation and be like, oh my god, like, I didn't mean for it to be about yada yada. She was literally like, but I have an issue that I want to speak about. People will hear. What the fuck does that mean?
Y'all, after this interview I just watched, I am convinced that Sydney Sweeney is a MAGA Republican and no one can convince me otherwise. Y'all need to see this.
White people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority.
Oof, I can't sit through any more TikToks. Here are a few more examples I found of this lazy grifter bullshit. Somebody called Rosie says here, Sydney Sweeney even has a white dog. I can't with this girl. Ooh, if it ain't channel favourite Miss Anne Harriman chiming in here with his 2 cents. Presuming that you are not a white supremacist, at least say how horrified you were, how this campaign was amplified and celebrated by unrepentant racists who believe in eugenics. And then, of course, there's the standard, well, whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, I'm done. I can't be doing with any more of this nonsense. A silly, silly video today, eh? We need to get back to serious, hard-talking topics. Politics. Ooh. All that kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I've had a lovely time. If you've had a lovely time, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And what else? Yeah, follow me on Instagram and on X if you want to know when I bring out a new video. Join my Patreon if you don't want me advertising ball shavers. And you can get some access to some exclusive content on there. What else? Nothing else. I'll leave you with the outro. I'll see you in the next one.
This is that. I'm dropping. He's resisting. Stop. Oh. Mr. Hill, this is unnecessary.
I can't breathe.
Sit up. This is ridiculous. Sit up, because if you can't breathe, you need to sit up, don't you? Or we'll just put you in the recovery position then, and we'll just leave you on.
I think he's now started to pretend to be unconscious.
Oh, please help me, somebody. This is like that Floyd. This is an assault. This is like that George Floyd in America.